Hi, guys.
Hi, everybody. Hi, John.
Hello,
Do you
Genevieve.
miss me? So it feels weird again to be home and not at the store, but that's okay.
I think we needed a little bit of a break.
Yeah, definitely.
Not from each other, just from
But
the
from the
store
store
a
for a
little bit.
little, yeah.
Yeah, we've been there quite a bit.
Yes.
But,
So,
guys, welcome to Parlour Tea. I just wanted to say one thing because Genevieve will yell if I don't. Please like, follow, and share.
yes, please do. Please,
Did it.
yes.
There you
Thank
go.
you. Thank you very much. So I'm super excited about this guest coming up because for a few reasons. One, he's wonderful, but he is also the person who introduced me to live streaming, and he's the reason why I had my first podcast, the Creepy Parlor, back in 2021. So during COVID, it was like the years that everybody had a podcast. um, so it was really fun. We had a great little friendship, great family, great community. So, without any further wait, I'm going to bring Teddy on. And I see he's got some nice accessories happening right
I,
now.
I see. Coming.
Oh, I don't know where he is. Let's try it again. Are we not connected? What's happening here?
Oh,
Let's try this
there
one.
it is. And they go,
Teddy!
Hi.
hi, Teddy. How are you?
Oh, good. How are you?
Good.
So, of course, it's wonderful to see you, and I miss you. And would you mind telling us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, I mind. You should know it. No, I'm just kidding. Uh, what do you want to know? I'm an author, paranormal investigator for 42 years. I've written a couple books. I've done a few TV shows. I'm also in a regional band out of New York State. We tour. Um, I'm not sure what else to tell you.
Well, I'm super happy that you're here. I'm going to show your books, I'm going to show the
Okay.
covers of your books right here. So,
hmm
before I launch into questions, John, did you have any questions to start off with?
Who, me?
Yes.
Yes. So,
Is your
you
name
know,
John?
yes. So I always wondered, when people end up becoming like authors, was there an experience that you had that triggered to do this, or was this a form of like just a love for it?
Well, it kind of both because um, when I was younger, I saw my grandmother who passed. Um, she'd passed, and I seen her afterwards. And then after that, I just kept studying, kept reading, doing research, and talking to whoever would talk to me because back then it was um, not a good thing. Everybody would say, "Oh, you're getting into things you shouldn't be getting into." Um, it just drove me nuts. Let's just put it that way. When you get into something pretty, intense and you wanted answers, you get out there and you do the research. You do a lot of work, and I think that's what's missing in some of the stuff out there today. There's not enough people actually doing research. They're not actually looking at what may cause this, what effect would it have, how do we prove it or disprove it. And I'm not talking about just ghosts. I'm talking about everything in life. To be honest with you, because there's a reason why things some people that are very spiritual believe it's because of God or it's the will of something else that wants this to happen. Um, for me, I needed more than that. I'm the guy that has the shirt that says, I want more. So
Hmm.
I go out and I try to do more.
I get that. I think that that's really cool because I do agree with you. I don't believe that everybody wants something presented on a platter when you need to do the work to make sure that you have the facts and they're presented, that you could do a checkoff list to diminish the things that could be or couldn't be. So I do agree with you.
We've
Um,
we've had a lot of conversations too about. I think with both of you have had a lot of conversations about the paranormal and um, what is beyond this realm. And I think that one of the things that I remember having big discussions with you, Teddy, about was trying to kind of standardize or having people like kind of collectively look at how they're going about doing their investigations so that we have more information. People don't really share much of their information.
The problem with this, Genevieve, and it's something that's been there since the beginning, and it's not getting any better. Um, I think what's happening is people, first off, the human race, being a part of this. I mean, all humans are selfish. Okay, they really are. It's part of the animal traits that we have.
Yeah,
It
survival.
probably stems from, yeah, survival of the fittest, more or less. And so being selfish and all that is just a normal thing. So when you get into a subject um, that's dear to your heart, that you're spending a lot of time on, um, why would you share it with somebody else? You
Hmm.
know, that's the thought pattern behind it. What they don't realize is it's not a race. It's not who finishes first. If you're out there really to help the people that are in need, then that should be your priority.
Yeah,
Um, Getting those people safe first and foremost, trying to come up with answers for them, and then collecting your information, and then putting something together afterwards and saying, "This is what we found after all of this," and the incidents that lead up to it, and so on and so forth. You do have to have some type of plan. You have to have, as you would say, like a standard procedure,
yeah,
and what to do. Unfortunately, in the paranormal field, there isn't one standard guideline or anything like that. Will it ever happen? Unless somebody can take it over and control it, and I don't know, hire on staff and so on and so forth, and build a massive computer to hold all this information, whether it be the government or somebody else, some private industry, it'll never happen.
mhm.
Um, it's just that's the way it is. There are teams that will share information,
hmm,
um, but more so, there are people that are just not willing to give it up. You
yeah,
know, and unfortunately, there's a lot of stuff out there that if we were able to look at each other's data or information or video or listen to the audio, we might be able to come together to figure out what collectively is going on here. You know,
yeah.
what is the silver thread that connects them all?
And it's also a matter of perspective too. You might see something that I don't see in my data. We do a lot of work with our spirit boxes and stuff, especially at the shop because there's a lot of activity there. And someone may hear one word coming through the spirit box, but another person hears a different word. So there is that bias effect.
Agreed. Agreed. I do have a two-parter question for you, Teddy.
Okay.
So, in the paranormal realm, meaning investigations of haunted locations, what was your favorite? And have you done or investigated your dream location?
Oh, those are good questions.
Well, I would say first and foremost, I can't say I have a favorite. I have a few. Um,
Hmm.
I am a big person on battlefields. I love battlefields where there was trauma, where there was things that. Um, One of the theories is that if you die from trauma, something really bad and negative happened to you, um, there's more energy that's left behind. There's more that you're going to be able to collect. It's just a bigger energy that's left there, a residual thing.
Yeah.
And so battlefields I love going to. There's one here in New York. Um, it's called the Ambuscade, uh, and it's in Groveland Station. and it's from the 1776 wars, and it's just amazing. You know, um, George Washington got a hold of one of his generals, yeah, I think it was a general, Sullivan, took his people and he told them to go down and wipe out the natives, and that's what they did. And so there was a lot of trauma. There was a lot of things that happened there. Um, Boyden Parker Park, it's hard to say three times fast, is now there, and that is about two officers that were taken hostage by the natives, and they were tortured and strung around a tree, left to die with their own intestines.
Oh, that's pretty horrific.
Yeah, well, they cut off certain body parts, and the last thing that they cut off was their head.
Wow.
So the trauma, the energy, the residual stuff that's left behind, in theory, could be massive. So that's, as an investigator, that's what we need to do, is go out and investigate stuff like that. See if there's a specific time or a date or anything like that that's going to, be a bigger rise of energy, to where you can collect some type of data or something that's going on. So that's that. Now, answering the question, have I done my favorite location? No. I'd love to, though.
What's your favorite?
You want to know? I was just going to ask. Do you want to know?
Yes.
Yeah.
Alcatraz.
Oh.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a cool one. I
I'd
don't think
imagine-
has anybody really done that.
I don't know, but the second one from that, and if I never get to Alcatraz, I want to go to all the locations that Jack the Ripper went and murdered his victim.
I actually did the Jack the Ripper tour in when I was in London, and it is fantastic. It's like you've just went back in time. It's beautiful. So, one other question. Hi, Sarah. My question to you is, from what I understand, I know that you do investigations of just not haunted locations, but do you do Bigfoot as well as UFO sightings, or am I
No, because in my world,
this is a good
in
one. This is a good
in
topic.
my perfect little world, I believe that the paranormal is an umbrella which encompasses everything.
Okay.
One of them would be Bigfoot, UFOs, all your cryptids, stuff like that. And basically anything that's not what we would consider normal. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Right. It does. Because I'm fascinated. Like, this stuff fascinates me, but like even the Bigfoot going out and doing it, which I would love to do that, but You're
not going in the woods for a weekend. You're not.
We can glamp Bigfoot. Is that a thing?
Let's be honest, John.
I don't know how I would react. It would be like a whole Blair Witch thing going on.
Oh, God. Here we go.
Wait, Teddy, just to give you an example. So a couple weeks ago, we had a seance event at our store, and we heard someone was doing the Estes method, and she had the headphones on, and we heard a whistle in the store, and then she heard it through the headphones, and she said out loud, and then there's a whistle. The look on John's face, I thought he was going to just pop out of his skin. He's like, I got to go home.
I said, that's it. I'm out. I'm out.
So the thought of John going into the woods for a Bigfoot event would be amazing.
I mean, I'll be honest with you. I mean, I've been on a few, and they're not what you think they are. I've never done a Bigfoot hunt at night. I've only done it during the day, and I don't think I could do it at night. There's just too much out there that, can eat you. So I don't, I don't know if I would do that, but I give it a go.
Have you
somebody want to take me out at night?
Have you had your own personal sightings, or have you seen
I've
Any?
never seen Bigfoot. No.
Yeah.
I did have an experience where we did hear something bipedal, something very large and heavy, running through muck and through water, like through a swamp. But that's the most that I've ever had.
Yeah. I mean, I find it fascinating, and I find it why people wouldn't think that things are um, like these types of things are true or not. Like, I don't understand. Like, there's too many
Well,
reputable individuals that
And
have evidence.
we don't know everything on this world
That's
in
what
this
I'm
world
saying.
either. Yeah.
But ruling it out and thinking people are crazy is just, you know.
well, there's a couple of things that I like to say, especially to when I do lectures and stuff. When you're out there and you're doing this research, um, whether it be ghosts, Bigfoot, or whatever it is at the time, um, if you have, let's just say, for instance, if you have a million people that claim to see a certain thing, how can you sit there and call them all liars?
Right.
You didn't see it, they did. If
Hmm.
they all corroborate each other's stories and they all come up with a an image of the same thing, um, I got a cardinal that just landed over here. Sorry. Look, there goes a squirrel. But anyways, um, it's just one of those things where it's like you can't just say they're all liars. You have to do the research. You have to see if there's something there. Um, do your research. Like we said in the beginning,
Yeah.
there are things that you can do, and you just have to be willing to do it. And I will tell you that, and this is not something that I'm saying. This is something that has been said over the, I don't know, probably the last 10 years. Human beings are relying on computers and stuff like that too much. They're not
Hmm.
getting out there in the woods. They're not doing the work like they should be out there. We've all become very lazy
Yep.
in that
Agreed.
fact, you
I
know, and we need to look at different things. I mean, I'm sure, Genevieve, you remember the She Squatchers,
Oh, of
the
course.
Bigfoot team, the three
Yeah.
ladies. Um, I met up with them like a month ago. They were near me. They stopped by. We had lunch, and we discussed. They were on like a 2 week or a 3 week hunt for Bigfoot.
Wow.
And these three ladies were out there camping and being out there in the woods doing what most people are really like, oh hell no, I'm not doing that. There's mosquitoes and stuff. I'm not doing that. Um,
There's ticks out
and
there.
I connect. Yeah, well, they come off.
mm, um,
I'm just saying that if you're going to go out and do this stuff, you really just need to apply yourself um, to the best of your ability.
I
Get out
think
there and do
also,
it.
just on that note too, I think that because we've become so reliant on computers and technology and all of that, we've completely lost the fact that our intuition is probably one of our best tools. And we doubt one
I would
another.
say yes. I would say yes. And that's another thing that I give in my lectures is that you have to remember that your body will alert you of things. That's
Yeah.
part of the human and animal instinctive things that when something doesn't feel right, your body knows.
Yep.
have Was there any experience that really shook you to the core that made you really scared? It was a really, you know,
No. But there was one that made me go, okay, I need to go check myself into the R wing because I don't believe what I just saw.
and what was that one?
Um, it was a black figure. You couldn't see through it. It had four arms, two legs, the size of probably a 6 to an 8-year-old child. Walked up a wall and disappeared.
Wow.
I mean, walked up the wall.
Where was that?
I can't tell you the location.
Okay. It wasn't
But
home. That's all I'm at. It wasn't your house, was
no,
it? Of
wasn't home. Nope, nope, nope. Unfortunately, some things have to stay confidential.
course.
Um,
I
so
get it. That's fine. Have you ever felt like you might have brought anything back with you, or do you
Never.
do?
I knew where you were going with this. Never. Never. Never.
That is
Never.
something that people are always asking us too.
Yeah.
Like if they buy something at the store, are they going to bring that home? But I think you'd be really proud of what I started doing there, Teddy. I've got a
Okay.
journal. I got a journal, and I make everybody write date, time, what they experienced, how they felt, what they smelled, what their body felt. Were they nauseous? Did they have a headache? Did they feel like they were being touched? What the weather conditions were? I've got everything, and
There you go.
they make fun of me, but it's valid.
I'm very proud of you. I'm very proud of you.
I
You
think that
have to do that.
You have to.
I think that since we're doing things and you have all these people that are really, excited to come and see the store that are like psychics or mediums or people that have that, that intuition of things, they've come into the store and they've told us things that we didn't even know or we've witnessed, but there wasn't any names attached to these things. But I think because of all of this, there's a lot more activity. They're very vocal, a lot more than they've been in the very beginning because we are talking to them and then we are listening to them. So it's been
Good comment, Sarah. That's the way it should be. Document everything to the best of your ability. I do have a question for you, John.
You do. Okay.
Yeah. It's my turn.
Okay.
Is it about his hair? Is it going to be about his hair?
No, look at his wall. Look behind him. Look behind him.
Uh-huh.
It's just a plain colored wall. You have pictures. You have something going on. I have nature. He's got a plain wall. What is up with that?
Well, there really is things on the wall, but just that my other half, Rick, husband, he does things behind, and this is where he sits, and that's the color of the company. So he removed it. Otherwise, there's creepy ventriloquist dummy like heads of all these different people. Like
there
all
you
the
go.
Awesome.
on the thing. But...
Hello. Hello, guys.
Oh, there she is.
There's Jillian.
She was pouring her drink.
Wow. Took you long enough.
Yeah, it's a very big drink.
Yeah, she probably spilled half of it.
Probably. It is interesting that you picked up on that, Ted, because literally every space that John has is covered in something.
Yeah, it's a lot of stuff.
Well, let me show you what's covering mine. Hold on. Trees.
Nice.
Oh, yeah. No, we don't have trees. No, I don't know. I don't know where any of those pictures he put them.
Oh, Jillian, you wouldn't expect anything different from me, honey. So just sit down, relax, and shut up.
It's gone there.
It's already.
I miss you, baby. I miss you, girl.
So,
like, I don't like that guy.
I messaged her earlier. I was like, you better be on. You better come see us. I'm curious real quick about, I'm going to bring the books back up. Because one of the things that I like about the topics that you've got here, flashlight, recorder, and comfortable shoes, like it just kind of reinforces that you don't need, well, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but you don't need all of the fancy stuff.
Exactly. That book in particular was put together by myself and Keith Spratley, who lived in the UK. He worked for the Department of Defense, and what we did is you can find them on Amazon. That's probably the cheapest place to get them right now. We just wrote down what we thought should be in this book, and we just shared through emails. Now, and we said, hey, we didn't like this. Let's change this to this, blah, blah, blah. And basically, yes, you don't need all that equipment. You don't need all that fancy stuff, especially because there's so much out there that people develop these things and they go, hey, you need to learn this, you need to let, forget all that. If you basically go out there with a flashlight, of course you want comfortable shoes and some type of audio recorder or video recorder, you're going to be able to pick up things. And all you're looking to do is to collect some type of uh, data or um, what's happening at that time. You know what I mean? And
Hmm.
each time you go out, you do the same thing and see if you catch exactly the same thing each time you go out. Your body is the biggest tool. We've already discussed that is the best tool that you can use. It's going to tell you whether you are feeling something like you're in danger or something's going to bother you or whatever. Your body is going to tell you everything. So that's what we tell people to do to start out with. It's like just go out and experiment first by yourself. You want to buy something, go for it, but know the tool. Really learn what the tool does. You know what I mean? Know
Yeah.
the ins and outs.
So you
I
have
like
a radio station, right?
Hmm.
And what
Hmm.
is the radio station? What does it consist of? Maybe you could tell the people where they could find
It's
it or listen or.
all right. It's WLFE dbradio.com, I believe. Website's still working. If not, it's on Facebook. Um, there's all different types of vodcasts. Now, I want to make sure that people understand vodcasts and podcasts are different. This is a vodcast that we're on right now because it's showing you video and audio. A um, WLFE radio.com. I think there
yeah.
might be a hyphen in there, but I'm not sure. But they'll
I'll
find
double
it
check.
once they put
I'll
that
post it.
in. All right. Um, the difference is a podcast is just the audio. Here you get to
Mhm.
see the visual part of it. So
And then you
God, I
have your
almost
own.
feel like I know what I'm talking about.
Well, how many? I mean, at one point, how many? What was the like highest amount of vodcasts that were on that station?
That we
Because it was
had
a
over
lot.
20. We had over
Yeah.
20 at one time. Yeah. We're down to about 5 or 6 right now.
Hmm.
Um, things changed. I mean, the whole reason that WLFE was created was because we're all in COVID.
Yeah.
Um, everybody was home and they couldn't do anything. So that's what happened as soon as COVID kind of dwindled down. People said, hey, I'm going back to work. I don't have this time anymore, blah, blah, blah. So the shows kind of went down. There are still some that are still up there.
Yeah.
There's Bigfoot shows, there's paranormal shows, there's, an author show. There's a lot of stuff there, you know.
Yeah, guys, definitely check it out because there's a lot of really fun, a lot of fun activity. T-Roy's my favorite.
Uh, Hero is one of them. If you're into Pride, if you're into the LGBTQ IA plus stuff, that would be T-Roy show, which is everything yet nothing.
Mhm.
And he's he's something, isn't he? I mean,
He's
he is.
wonderful. He and Kevin are wonderful.
Yeah, yeah,
And I love the Carters too.
um,
Absolutely love the Carters.
yeah. And theirs is the author show, and their show is awesome.
Yeah.
You know. But my show was Paratalk Radio. Um, we were on for 6 years. Right now, we're taking a little break. There was myself and guest host, which would be Psychic Cindy Thompson. She was from Ontario, New York, and she's a well-known psychic in the area. She's really good for a psychic, you know. Her personality is she drives me nuts sometimes, but I love her to death. You know, she's very loud, very outspoken, worse than Jillian. Um, she's sorry. There's that little thing. Sorry, I love you. One of those things, but yeah,
6 years is a long time for for a vodcast. That's a long time
The
to be
average,
consecutively
the
going.
average pod, yeah, the average podcast or vodcast is 16 months.
I think I made that. I think that's about as far as I made it originally.
Yeah, with a creepy parlor.
Yeah. Yeah. Honestly, for me, it just got to be too much with work and stuff. And then like going back to work, like you said, like it shifted everything. And
I
then
never got Mr. Evil or Dr. Evil or whatever his name
Father
was, that
Evil.
one guy. I never got him on the show, but I had got Mungie, and Mungie was probably one of my favorites. So
Yeah. Yeah, that was good. If Father Evil came to our store, he was doing ghost tours with us for a little while.
well, before the show, we were talking about if I make it down for the New Jersey Fair Unity. If I do, I promise I will come to the store. We'll do a book signing or, whatever. Real quick, if you want to put the books back up there for me, Genevieve. Real quick,
Sure.
I'll tell you what the other one's about.
Yeah.
The second book, actually is like a second part to the first. It's called Think Outside the Paranormal Box. The book was written in the what's that?
No, I'm just go ahead.
Sorry.
Sorry.
Saying hi to Holly. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. So I wrote the book with the idea of bringing back some of the old school techniques of what people from different eras of our society would use. Were the first people that went out there to try and detect the paranormal, what they would use. Anything from a piece, like a stick or a folded dollar bill or a playing card, balloons, whatever. There's a lot of things in the book that should gives you an idea of some of the old techniques and older items or simple items that you already have in your house that you could use, basically.
That's similar
really
to
very
our
cool.
event.
It's similar to what we and Genevieve and Sarah came up with
Sarah's
Sarah.
the brains behind that one.
Yeah, Sarah's the brains behind that. She brings the historian part of it, like what things were used during the time frame in the beginning of seances, and it actually goes all the way up to more modern tools that are forms of communication to communicate to the other side, it's been wonderful, well received, and because of those things, we've been getting a lot more activity in the store. But
Yeah.
I get that, and I find that very interesting, to do.
And I think,
Well, if you don't have, I was going to say to John, sorry to interrupt, but if he doesn't have my book, he needs it.
Well, I'm going to wait till you come and sign it, then I'll buy it there. But let's say, so besides your books, and I think that the Think Outside the Box Paranormal Box is probably really a great tool. But what other, like if someone's new and they want to do this, either personally or whatever, or on their own, what do you like? How do you go about it? Like any suggestions on that, like sort of paranormal investigating 101?
The first rule is never go alone.
True.
And what you want to do is you want to familiarize yourself with what the paranormal really is.
Yeah.
Do some reading, do some research, find a local team, and please be aware of local teams because sometimes they're not what they claim to be. There are good people, there are bad people. We know how this works in life. And it would be the same with the teams or how they're being, ran. Just really do your research and get the knowledge. I mean, don't believe everything you see or hear, especially YouTube. There are a lot of things out there that are fake, that are put together just with overlays and Photoshop. You really need to go to a lot. Yeah, you really just need to go to a library and start picking up books and reading stories that go all the way back to medieval times. I mean, there are stories, there are things out there that talks about ghosts and what they've seen, apparitions. There's just so much out there. And number one thing I'm going to say is remember you're a student. You're always a student. I'm a student. You guys are students. We're learning every day. You will never, ever be an expert because there's no way to become an expert in this field.
I love
There's no
that.
way.
Yeah, I absolutely love that, and that keeps people humble. Because I think
Absolutely.
with some of the energies you're working with and some of the situations that you go into, people really need to stay grounded. And you see a lot of people going in and being antagonistic and being disrespectful, and that's stay.
Don't always follow what you see on TV.
No, don't.
There are too many. There's too many shows out there that don't give you the complete build up or
Yeah.
breakdown of what's
Right.
happening.
And it takes a lot longer.
Yeah.
It takes a lot longer than people think to get evidence and to review evidence and to analyze data and look through all that stuff. It takes a lot longer than people think. It's not a half an hour process.
No.
I tell people all the time. It's like, hey, just for shits and giggles. Sorry, I didn't know if I could swear, but anyways, take 10 cameras, leave them up for 8 hours apiece. How much data or video do you have to watch now?
Yeah, it's a lot. And you're probably not
hours?
just watching it. You're probably not just watching it once.
Right.
Yeah.
So it takes a lot of time, and you can fall asleep. Trust me, I've done it. Don't believe everything. That's the other one. Don't believe everything.
I agree with you. I really do. I agree with you.
Yep.
Because a lot of people are finding this more, that they could go out and they could do better and they could do this and they could do that. And I think that people need to sit there and take a breather and, really think, because there's no one better than another. It's just specific times, specific things that you end up getting data from certain situations. It's like, well, maybe they related to you, or maybe they liked that person, or they just didn't feel like being on. Like, there's a lot of factors that I think
time of day, time of year,
time of day. It was the day.
There's a lot of things. There's a lot of things. I'm sorry to cut you off, but there are a lot of things. For instance, if you get a male and a female in a location and it's responding to the female, not the male, there's got to be a reason.
Correct.
So you look at that. The other thing is other investigators. Everybody that's out there can bring something to the table. So do not discriminate against them because you think they might not have knowledge or they can't help you. Everybody knows something that someone else doesn't. There's always something available, something there.
Right.
The other thing would be just remember that we all have feelings. And if you believe in the spirit realm, and if you believe that ghosts exist, the belief is that they still have feelings. They understand. So don't be so cruel. Don't be so, just, just think that it's push it aside. Don't do that, because there's more there than what we know. And none of us are experts and none of us have all the answers. And that's why I tell people, experiment, keep trying, keep going back.
Right.
I don't care if you go back 1,000 times, ask the same question at the same time 1,000 times. See how many times you get that answer back. You have to be able to do the research and collect the data and go through it and be, what's the word I'm looking for?
Objective?
Yes, objective. Thank you. You have to be. There are a lot of things that I don't myself, being a researcher in this field, I don't believe that everything that's happening under the paranormal is real, and I never will. And the reasoning for that is because I can't prove it.
Right.
If I could prove it, it would be a different story.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's why I always say I want more.
And I think also too, it's important, if you are doing research and if you're going out there and doing your own investigations, it's really important to have your own, like, what your code of ethics is, what you will put out there and what you're looking to gain from it. Like I'd mentioned, like the antagonizing and stuff, like we are very clear with people when they come into the parlor that they are not to antagonize the spirits that are there. We can communicate with them, but we're not going to prod them or mock them or anything like that, because they do have feelings. They were once human, we think, for the most part.
I like the way you put that.
But also, in addition to that, if someone comes in and they're doing an event with us and they're antagonizing the energy that's there, they get to go home. We're the ones that spend the majority of our time there.
Yeah. And
that's,
you know,
there's a lot to think of. A lot.
Yeah.
But then people don't realize that, you know, these things or these spirits are not really on 24/7. They're not coming, okay, it's a show, jazz hands, and everybody's working. You know, I think that a lot of it is people. I think a lot of people need to realize that this work is dedication. It is repetitive. I think you need to be repetitive about it.
Right. It's not an aquarium. It's not a place where the ghosts are behind glass walls. It's not a zoo. It's not, they can't come out on command, and they're not going to. If you look at this as an energy only, energy is affected by a lot of things. It's affected by light. It's affected by sound. It's affected by the time of day. It's affected by a lot of things that we just don't know. And so you can't just say, well, it's going to happen, or this is what it is. I'm sorry. Unless you can come up with a ghost syringe to draw ghost blood, to do a DNA, search on that, or, you have all of this stuff there to say, yes, definitively, this is what this is. Let me just give you one little example. The amount of hair and DNA collected for Bigfoot today, that sits in different locations across the world, none of them can prove that it's a Bigfoot. Yeah. Why? Because we do not have any original DNA from exactly of a Sasquatch. So no matter what you do, the evidence that you collect, and I'm saying evidence loosely because it's hard to collect evidence on something you can't see, smell, taste, or hear. Okay? Yeah. You have to be able to collect all this stuff. And if you don't have something else backing that as well, it's very hard to say this exists. Mm-hmm. And taking it to science is a whole nother level, to say, hey, here's a bunch of guys that everybody's picturing in white coats sitting in a freaking laboratory saying, hey, this is what this is. They're all going to look at you and start pointing and laughing and saying, okay, whatever. They'll be the first one to put you in the R wing or some crazy loon. That's crazy, man. Yeah. So trust me, there's this research in this field, loosely I say field, but this whole encompassed paranormal thing is still young. We're just scratching the surface of it. We don't know enough about it to say this is definitively what this is. And I don't think we will in any of our lifetime. It'll probably be 500 years from now before they even get anything that remotely gives them a shot. And that's just a wild guess. Yeah. So I would say briefly be careful when you're out there doing this stuff, because you got to have a flashlight to make sure that you're seeing in the dark. And the reason we do it in the dark, folks, just so you know, is because it's quieter. There's less interaction of humans, mechanical noise, so on and so forth. That's just the way it is. I want my DNA to ancestry, and they said,
it probably
really, you're 4% Sasquatch. That's funny.
Probably.
If you know me, it's hilarious. Like 6'4".
If you know Jay, you would get it.
That's hilarious. But yeah, you got to be careful while you're out there, and you have to be respectful to the location and the people that are there.
Yeah.
There's a lot to it. So if you really want to get into this field, you really have to do your work and your research.
Yeah.
So, you've talked about like the umbrella and everything that falls underneath it. So, unidentified flying objects. Have you ever seen any of that?
Yes, I did see one when I was young.
We're keeping you longer than half an hour, Teddy. I'm sorry.
I know. Just so you know, my other my other appointment is about 30 minutes away, but it's no big deal.
Okay, well,
Um,
we'll end on UFOs and then we'll go.
That's the last
no,
question.
you're fine. No, you're fine, and I'll come back anytime.
Okay.
So UFO, I did see something. I couldn't explain it. It was in the air. It was an unidentified aerial object of some type, um, UAP or UFO, whatever you want to call it. It's something I couldn't explain, and I have friends that are in. That's the other thing when you're in this field, you need to gain friends in places that have um, expertise, and whether it be a police officer, a science teacher, whatever, somebody that can help you with this stuff. But I have friends that are in um, the military. I have friends that are in MUFON, which do collect data and all that stuff on UFOs. I have people in Bigfoot. I have other people in the paranormal period, and you have to align yourself with other people that, like I said before, that might have something to bring to the table that you're missing.
Mm.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, before I let you go, any other words of wisdom? Anything else you want to plug? I just found you very interesting, and I was very excited to have you on because this type of stuff
It
is
wasn't
always.
because I was so handsome, was it?
Yes. Yes,
Oh,
it was.
it was the nose. It was the
It was.
nose because the nose knows. But
And
anyway,
it's because I miss you so much.
I miss you too. Um, I am working on a third book. I'm not sure yet what it entitles. I'm still working on it. I have played around with the idea of um, the research locations and what I've collected as part of the third book. We'll see. There's a lot that I have to think about. How it affects other people besides myself. Putting it out
Yeah,
there.
that's a big one.
That's one of the
That's a
main
big one.
things.
Yeah.
And because there's a lot, I'm gonna. Oops. See, I lost my earbuds. I'm gonna say this, and I'm not being disrespectful, but there's a lot of shit out there,
Yeah.
and we have to be choosy and picky,
Yep.
unfortunately. But if you find some good people with good information, and they seem to know what they're doing, feel free to reach out to them. Make sure you find a good skeptic to put in your pocket too,
Yes.
because they're going to give you a lot of help. Kenny Biddle, I
Kenny
don't know if he's
Biddle.
watching, but he's one of the best that I know, and he now lives in Buffalo, New York, which is like an hour from me, which is fantastic. So
Yep.
that works for me, and we're really good friends. So I can always trust his opinion. And just
Yes.
remember,
Kenny
that's
had
what
the
they all are, is
skeptic.
opinion.
Yep.
Everything is opinion.
The
Right.
skeptic bar, right? That's his.
Yeah.
Yep. Cool.
Skeptical help bar, right?
Skeptical help bar. Yeah. Yes.
If you look
Well,
up Kenny Biddle, you'll find him.
Yep. He should be on our show, John. We'll get him
Yeah,
on.
you should.
Yeah.
Hey, Genevieve, just so you know, I put together my first Pride event.
You did?
Yeah, here in New York. Yep, I did.
Excellent.
It was fantastic. It was basically just one day. Um, it was amazing how many people came out. We had a drag show. We had just a lot of fun.
Phenomenal.
It was amazing. It was
Awesome.
amazing. I can't
Awesome.
wait to do another one.
Very cool.
well,
Um,
I don't want you to, then it's Genevieve's fault, not my fault. No. Anyway, I appreciate you coming on. I think you're fascinating. I look forward to meeting you, hopefully in person.
yeah, I've known you for how long and we haven't met in person?
Well, you know where I am, dear, and I
No.
have the Parafest every year. You're
I
more than
know, I
welcome
know, I
to come
know.
to the Parafest and set up and tell people who you are. We have a lot of guests that come up, a lot of people that have been on TV. We have a lot of people that are just phenomenal individuals with a lot of knowledge. And that's why the Parafest, Rochester Parafest, I'm going to plug it. Rochester
Mm-hmm.
Parafest is very important, especially in New York, because we do have to share. We do have to
Yes.
put stuff out there.
Yep.
Well,
Okay.
I
On the sharing
appreciate.
note, we are going to let you go, so because you're going to be late.
Yeah.
Jillian, I love you, girl. You're a big pain in my rump, but I love you anyways. I hope I get to meet you eventually as well. Your sister's prettier though. I'm sorry, just a plug. Just a little slap. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
She's prettier.
Sounds
She's
like
much
what
prettier.
did
She's
they
got
ever
the blue
do?
eyes.
Does she?
Yeah.
That's all right, John. It was fantastic meeting you. Maybe
It was
someday I'll
very
meet your
nice.
husband.
Yes.
And maybe we'll all get together someday. Maybe if I can get down there, we can do dinner. All of us would be great.
Yes.
Yeah. Or maybe we can all do an investigation together.
That's possible. Maybe I'll be married by then. Who knows? Still looking for my Mr. Right.
Yeah. Hit me up. No.
Yeah.
My
It's
IG.
All
taking
right.
a
Well,
turn.
Genevieve, thank you so much for having me on.
Thank you,
It's been
Teddy. I miss
fantastic
you.
seeing you. I miss you too.
So nice to see you.
But now I have to, Jesus, earbuds. Now I have to go to my other appointment, which it's not an important one. It's just one that I said I would do, make an appearance. So I'm going to sing karaoke.
Good for you.
Karaoke, as they say.
Good
So,
for you. Have fun.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much.
Bye,
I
guys.
appreciate it.
And
Nice meeting you.
if anybody has questions or wants to reach out to me, Genevieve, they're more than welcome to.
Okay.
They can reach out to WLFE DB Radio. They can find me there. Genesee Valley Paranormal Investigators, or just Ted GVPI at Gmail.
I'll post all of that in the comments on here too.
Thank you.
All right.
Once again, thank you.
You're welcome.
Bye, guys.
Take care,
See you
guys.
next Parlour Tea.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.